What's up? Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be, or morning, I guess, whatever. Hey, it's Dropped Gears. And if you're like me, your mental game is always a dropped gear. And yeah, hi, my name's Import. I'm a head admin at Evo, and soon to be a treasurer at Evo Esports, electronic German Sport Club. Anyways, and then we have my co-host as always, Lime and Shorty. Say hello.
Hello, it's me, Lime, content creator for Evo.
Good.
And that's it.
Yes.
Good.
And Mr. Sick Guy.
Hello, I'm Shorty, and I'm happy to announce that I'm not feeling shit after 3 months finally. So yeah, I'm finally feeling all right again. They didn't find any cause yet, like why the blood pressure has been high, but since now I'm taking pills and the blood pressure is where it should be again, I'm feeling okay. Like not 100%, but we're getting there. So all good again.
Good.
Feeling
Fucking
good.
finally, man. Imagine 3 months. Like, oh.
Yeah, man. It's been rough. I've felt so bad for you, but I'm happy that there might be a light at the end of the tunnel, so that's pretty cool. We're gonna see how fast I can get canceled today because we are gonna be going over some fun stuff, including a couple regionals that happened over the last weekend. It should be fun. There's no Humega walls this week, I promise, or maybe I don't know. I'll think about it. I will think about it. If you're a team I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, yeah, we got some stuff we'll announce today. We got, of course, are going to go over the Trackmania Esports stuff that you guys have missed. To be honest, that's going to be really quick today because none of us, I think, watched any of TMCL or TMGL last weekend. We'll probably just talk about the EU regional stuff more than anything else. And oh yes, yeah. So Tona unfortunately has to cancel again for next week. He's unfortunately dealing with some personal issues with his living situation at the moment. Nothing crazy in that regard, but unfortunately his living situation just isn't very accommodating for being in a podcast or any type of call whatsoever. So until that gets resolved, he said May should be perfectly fine. That's plenty of time for him. So May is the plan for right now. So hopefully first week of May, that is what he has said he will do. So once he gets in there, we will let you know as soon as possible. But yeah, he does want to come. He stressed that he's really wanting to come, and he definitely wants to be able to answer your guys' questions regarding Cup of the Day and those heated
or whatever
topics
other thing he
or
said.
other stuff. But yeah, he wants to come. It's not that he doesn't. He just unfortunately with his he recently moved. So his new living situation is not completely finished yet in terms of comfortability yet. So I understand.
Well, to be fair, we obviously also want him here, but I'm kinda glad in a way because I would have missed him last week otherwise, and that I would have been really sad about that personally. So yeah.
No, it's okay. But yeah, he will come. Next week we'll have Speedy, hopefully on Speedy from Evo, not from Eminem, but yes, Speedy. Hopefully he will be able to come in and join us next week, and we'll talk about just how to run a team. I guess that'll be our topic for next week. But this week's topic is gonna kind of surround some updates and stuff that are coming down in the pipeline for Trackmania. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and do our TMWT recap here. Chris.
Oh my
yes.
god!
Oh. Okay.
Nothing happening.
Okay. All right. APAC region had a regional this last weekend, and Mujiki won. Dynasty came in second for Ferox Industries, and the Maroons tied for third. And fifth was tied for Troll Despair, Intic Esports, Arena Esports, and Trident Storm. That is all we're going to say. Let's move on. All right. Now that we survived that together, EU regionals did happen, and this is something I can talk about and talk trash about because easy. Serotonin Events won first place, which is really cool for them. They beat out Arctic Raptors, and you guys might see this in third for those in Spotify. They're not going to be able to see this on the thing, but Big Berlin International Gaming, yes, the TMGL team played in the regional and screwed up all our seeding for the E regional this last weekend, which I'll get into in a second after I go through this standings here.
Can they do that? No. Yes.
What?
Big being also in the EU regionals.
Well, they're there, so yes.
Oh, okay.
How is that allowed? Like,
Okay, yeah. Let me get through the standings, and then we'll talk about Big being in there for a second, because we're gonna be on this E regional topic for a hot minute here. So yeah, Arctic Raptors, they came in second. Arctic Raptors, Shanimi Energies, they really trained super hard for this event, and you could tell because they were the ones who beat out Big and forced Big to be tied for third with Glorious Esports. And then tied for fifth is Mint Shift, Utopia Esport, and again Evo Pink. We just could not get through that top 8. But to be fair, this time in the top 8 we ended up going against Serotonin Events, who won the entire EU regional. So we can just say that, we were blocked by the winner of the regional, so easy. We'll huff the copium on that one. Anyways, let's talk about freaking Big and why they're in here. Ooh. Okay, so literally the day of the event, all teams were notified that a TMGL team was, or TMGL/TMCL team was going to be participating in the regional, which has been allowed since the beginning of everything. So I knew before the regionals even started that the possibility of a TMGL and TMCL team were going to be allowed to play in a regional. I knew that was going to be allowed because I noticed in the rulebook there was no rule stating it. So I was like, you know what? It makes, and I think even people asked for clarification on that rule, and I believe it was answered a while back, and everybody just happened to forget. But yeah. They can play. TMCL teams and TMGL teams can play. And to be honest, if you were Big, it would kind of... I mean, if you're a TMGL team, you get a license for a year, right? So really getting global points doesn't really matter for you as a TMGL team. But TMCL, it does matter, I think. I think it would be smart for the lower ranked TMCL teams to play in the regional if they had the time, because they could pad their points and prevent themselves from getting blocked out of regional points for whatever reason in the future, because they get a nice hefty chunk of points from just participating in a season of TMCL. And if any of these two teams, for example, Exalti and Easy Dream, I think, are the two, two teams at the bottom, because they already had that padding, and if they played a regional and won a regional, they had that extra padding. So when they go, if they, for whatever reason, they get to All-Stars or World Cup, they already have that point padding that would put them over the rest of the EU regional teams. So if either Exalti or Easy Dream go out in promo relegation at the end of this month, they will automatically have more global points than the majority of the other teams in the EU regional, just because of them being in TMCL for a season, which is whatever.
It's kind of I don't know how to feel about it, but it is a tactical move to have a team there just to get some points and then eventually secure your spot if something happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think that it should be allowed, because isn't the EU regionals for teams that are not huge? Isn't it? It's for people that want to grow in the scene. Why are you giving a spot to a team that is already it's already there? It's already big. It doesn't make sense to me, at least. I don't know.
I mean, Chris just pulled up the table here from Liquipedia, which you can look at. Liquipedia, it's just if you just want to Google TMWT global rankings, it'll pop up on the first search in Google. But yeah, if you look, 24 points from just participating in TMCL.
That is a shit ton of.
And that's for the top 4 teams. The bottom teams, they get like 18, I guess, or less even. So maybe not as much if you were to win 3 regionals in a row, like Damascus and FUT, because their regions are, and I will talk trash about it because I know it's the truth, that they have the freest regions that they're playing in. Like Damascus maybe has one team, 100% Canadians, that can kind of maybe play against them, but outside of that, no. FUT, you could say Molotov can kind of challenge them, but Birdie and Chemko have not had any struggle like winning all 3 regionals. Like it's cake for them. So if you're in a smaller region and you're able to dominate the regionals, yeah, you're going to benefit over a Team CL team. But if you're in the EU region, which is super stacked compared to the rest of the regions, that's not as easy. Serotonin getting 19 points is kind of insane, considering how crazy the competition has been in the EU region. I mean, it's been 8 main seeds for the most part. I think realistically, 12 to 14 teams were close to competing for the bottom 2 seeds, but for the most part, across the 3 regionals, it's been relatively the top 6 to 7 seeds have been the same every single regional. So, but still, that's way more than what any other regions can say, because it's only like 1 or 2 teams per region that like can actually say that. So, yeah, but yeah, Big playing in it. So this is what happened, and this is why people are kind of annoyed with the whole Big situation. On the day of the competition, Big came in, and Nadeo basically said, "Oh yeah, by the way, remember where the rulebook says that matchmaking is going to determine the seeds for the EU regional? Yeah, that's not going to happen. So now it's going to be, if you come from TMGL, that's first. If you come from TMCL, that's second, and then your matchmaking rating from matchmaking is third. So it doesn't matter that Big didn't have to do anything. They were automatically first seed just because they were TMGL, which is not fair at all, because your rulebook literally says matchmaking points matter, and that is how ranking is determined. Now, do I think that system is also good? No, I don't. I think matchmaking rating to determine the following regionals, especially regional 2 and 3, as a way to determine seeding is very stupid. But outside of that, like for the first regional, it makes sense because obviously slate is clean. Nobody really knows who's going to be top. That's fine. But then after your second regional, if you participate in the first regional, you should have your seed from the first regional on your performance based on the first regional. Simple as that.
I also want to mention, Big apparently wasn't aware of this because they were training matchmaking, and based off their matchmaking rating, they would have been seed number 13.
Yeah, they would have been a lower seed, which still would have kind of messed up the bracket. I mean, to be fair, Ascent, who won Regional 2, didn't even bother training for the third regional, let alone playing matchmaking, so they ended up in the same bracket as Glorious Esport, and that really could have thrown the bracket into a mess because Glorious Esport and Ascent played in round 2, which was top 32, I think, at that point. So that could have like really messed up Glorious Esports run. But I mean, he even Pashti was fine, so wasn't like a big issue for them. But still, it could have been a hot mess for that bracket. And then imagine if it was like 3 teams, like Glorious, Ascent, and Big on the same end of the bracket. So yeah, I mean, it's whatever, but it's just kind of weird. And to be fair, I'm surprised how Evo Pink kind of like has dodged all that mess with the brackets and everything, because we've relatively, when it came to getting to top 8, the hardest team we ever fought against was Nico Willocks with TOBX Shift, and we won that pretty handily. So yeah, we ended up pretty lucky in that regard. But then ending against Mint for 2 matches in a row. And honestly, I low-key wish we would have faced Mint again for the 3rd time in a row, not only for the memes, but I think we actually could have beat them this time because they were not looking good this 3rd regional. So, but it'd be that way. we ended up against Serotonin. But yeah, that's kind of the drama with the whole big thing. The biggest complaint that everybody has is this. Nadeo talks about how they think their esports ecosystem is like healthy and everything, and it's like providing opportunities for these regions and the regionals. If you're a smaller region, sure. If you're North America, if you're, North Central South America, if you're Middle East Africa, if you're Asia Pacific, yeah, perfect. You got plenty of opportunities because it's a small regional league that you can have a lot of visibility in because there's not many teams. So yeah, perfect. You definitely have the visibility there. Good for you. In Europe, however, there's so many teams. There was not a single regional where we had less than 64 teams. We always had more than 64 teams. In fact, for the last regional 3, we had 74 registered, and they cut off the bottom 10 or the last 10 or whatever because of their weird thing when they could have just gave everybody a bye and then made certain teams play an extra round and allowed those teams to play. There's other things where it's like, there's been comments made from certain staff or contractors from Nadeo, which I disagree with the statement at all, is that it's somehow the EU duo's fault for not getting orgs to pick them up. But how are the orgs going to pick these players up when you have a ton of teams that you hardly ever get to see and they hardly get any viewership time? Makes no sense to make a comment like that. I read this comment from a contractor. Huh? I can't leak my sources.
So it's not a public.
It is not a public thing, but it was from an individual who was working with Nadeo, and they were essentially blaming European duos for not getting orgs like the smaller regions. It's like, no, duh, they're not getting smaller. They're not getting picked up by orgs because there's no value in it.
And then if TMGL and TMC teams are now also playing the regionals, then well, good luck with that.
Yeah, what's the point then? Like, there's no point in investing. So you have to make up an option. You have to decide whether you value organizations coming into your esport, and then yeah, sure, you have some feigning idea of a esports ecosystem, or you take what is actually the important user base of your esport ecosystem, aka in this case Europe, and you give them more opportunities and you give them preference because that is where your user base is. When you start neglecting your user base, it's going to tick them off. Eventually, they're going to leave, or they're just not even going to bother anymore. And we kind of saw that at Regional 3, where some people just straight up didn't want to play anymore because there was no point. There was nothing beneficial. It was just a tournament that they were maybe going to go out of first or second round, and then what's to show for it? Nothing. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense. And it just is so frustrating to not only be able to provide this feedback to them, and I'm not the one who's provided this feedback to them. Multiple people have provided the same exact feedback that at least Europe needs to be split up into smaller regions or something like that, to where it's kind of the same as smaller leagues that APAC, MEA, and NCSA have. But at the moment, it's just when you have more than 64 players who only get a single elimination bracket all the way through, not even a double elimination bracket. All these other regions got double elimination. They got so much playtime. You lose one match and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense, obviously, because with that many teams, you don't have the time to do double elimination bracket, but then there needs to be a different system. Like, single elimination is just not good enough for this. Definitely not good enough.
They should make a system that makes sense with the region that you're working with. Because in that case, like someone was doing that, they were in Canada and they were playing the NCSA stuff. So you have to make a format that applies to the region that you're working with, so everyone has the same opportunity to advance something, you know? Otherwise, why are you making this? It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, for the other regions, they have a system that, in my opinion, works pretty well. But for
It does.
you, they need to rethink
I mean, the
that.
system works when you have not so many teams. That is
Yeah.
the issue. And
Yeah.
I think that they thought, oh, yeah, in Europe we're gonna have I don't know, 10 teams or a few more, and that's it. And I was like, how how are you thinking that way when you have so many people playing this game and so many people that want this seed to be for them? It's
Not even that, but you're just having teams that are registering for these regionals, not even showing up and still getting World Tour points for not even showing to their games. 100% Canadians did that in the last regional. They didn't show up to the regional. They still got points for it. Or maybe that was regional too. And then APAC Vobi, who is the #1 seed coming into APAC, also skipped their third regional. They checked in, they registered and everything, but they still got world points because of how small their region is, and they got global points for it too. So if they wanted to cockblock literally anybody from being able to get an extra seed, they could do that just by existing. It's the dumbest system I think I've ever seen. And then
You at least need to
at least play
be
one
there.
game.
You at least need to play. Like
Yeah.
you need to play. Like otherwise, if you don't show up, then you don't deserve the points.
Yeah,
I think
for
you
sure.
should get punished if you don't show up.
Yeah, or even that. True. Like if you say you're there and then you're not there, you deserve a punishment for sure.
Yeah. And there was a thing about a misunderstanding with the EU regional thing. And it was forever what you said. Teams are doing little to nothing to find orgs, as opposed to other regions. And EU, yeah, I mean, it makes no sense to reach out to an org. Hi, my name is Import. I'm on Team Evo. My team will say, I'll say Evo Black for this instance. Chroma and CNS's team duo. Hi, I'm on Team Evo Black. I only get top 32 in this EU regional every month. What team is going to sign a team that gets top 32, even top 16? Like, who cares? Like, what org is going to look at that and be like, bet, yeah, that's a great investment for us to get, like, branch out and everything? No. Now, if you go over to, hi, my name is so and so, I am from NCSA, and my team gets top 4 every regional out of 30 some odd teams, then they'd be like, okay, bet, that's pretty decent. Like, you're getting visibility in our region, a group of a region that we're trying to get visibility in, and also a new game that could also bring more potential people looking at our org or mid-major smaller org. I mean, that makes sense, but in Europe it makes zero sense. Makes zero sense for any organization to pick up a European team unless they're making top 8, and those top 8 duos are already pretty much signed. So if you notice over the 3 regionals, I mean, you had Arctic Rappers, they were already signed. Serotonin is probably the only team that isn't, like, signed. Serotonin is a team, but they aren't, like, a legal entity. You have Utopia Esports, who was Project Blue Lock. They got picked up by Utopia Esports. You have, who else? Let's see. Mint, they're not really a thing. I don't think they're a legal entity.
I don't
But
know,
there's,
but to
like, a
be
couple org,
fair,
but, like,
with the
Glorious
point of
Esport,
the
yeah.
the teams picking up players and stuff in the and the emergent regions, sometimes the team that pick these players are not even organizations that are well made or that are not so professional. I'm saying this because I come from the small region. I come from South America, and there are many teams, there are many organizations that come in, they say a new game, and they're like, oh yeah, we can have a team here, but nothing really happens, you know? Like, this organization is not like, for example, Exalti or Sprout. They are not like a professional organization. I don't know, I'm talking about what I know and what I think it might be this case. And for Europe, yeah, it's gonna be harder to get a team and to show that you're the best when you have little to no a little to no showcase of your abilities and everything. But one thing that Forever said that is true is that many people and many players that they do believe that the organizations will come to them and
True.
they don't get to the organization. You have to sell yourself.
Yeah, you do.
You have
I
to
agree.
go and
Definitely.
take that opportunity. You have to say, hey, even though I'm not showing my best because the region is such a big competing scene, you still have to get yourself up and show yourself to these organizations so they might have an interest not on you but maybe on someone else, and then start growing the scene. That is how it goes, you know. But crying over that you don't have the opportunity to grow, I mean, the format is horrible, okay, but crying because you don't have the opportunity to grow, that is at least in my personal opinion, it's not for it. It's because you're putting an excuse on something else that you cannot control, just to excuse yourself for your not growing situation, if you can say it like that.
I mean, I think it's two different things though, right? Like you on one end, yeah, that's true. But on the other end, when it comes to this format and just how everything is, there's almost, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you could probably convince somebody that, like, even if you weren't like a good duo in the EU regional, maybe you could find some unknowing org that just wants to like try to utilize you as a
Yes.
way to branch in. That's fine. I mean, that's where you kind of hop into like a lot of Rocket League org teams have kind of trickled over into Trackmania because of the supposed like relatability of the two games. But outside of that, like, to me personally, if I were not saying that these people are dumb, but like if I were smart, like a smart org trying to grow my brand, I would not be looking at any of these EU regional teams. It makes no sense. Like if it were a top 8 team, like for example Mint or Shift, yeah, that makes sense. They're getting top 8. That has an opportunity because they're competing to be able to get into at least an amateur league in this professional, we want to call it professional esports in this ecosystem that's brand new. Then yeah, that makes sense. But if you're like top 16 or whatever,
No,
it makes no
you
sense.
at least to show that you are good enough to be at the top 8. If you're not good enough to be at the top 8, why would someone pick you? That literally makes no sense. At least show that you're good enough, and then start crying about teams not picking you.
I mean, maybe they're just a little bit sad about or like frustrated about the way the EU regionals are played, because I can totally understand that you would get frustrated when you play 3 regionals and all of them are just best of 1. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say that all of them automatically got unlucky or lucky with the seeding, because obviously you can get pretty unlucky with this, you know. Like, some teams probably have been like super unlucky, and like, imagine being Bisp and getting big in the last regional, you know, first matchup. Like, maybe you are or could be like top 8 team, but sometimes you just have bad matchups that automatically is gonna happen with best of 1. So maybe some of those teams are just frustrated about it.
Yeah, but one
But
thing
in the
is that
end, just, you know, for getting an organization, you have to show results. Like, no organization is gonna care about you getting unlucky in seeding or stuff like that.
yes,
Like, that's just how it is. It shouldn't be like that, of course, and that's why you shouldn't have best of 1s. Like you should have at least double elimination, or maybe even, considering how many teams EU has, like maybe even a completely different situation there because of so many teams at a high level. You could even make like some kind of league system within EU, you know, kind of like challenger, but even below that, technically you could. I'm just saying you could do different things, and you should probably do something different than how it is now. But crying about not having an organization, mate, you're
I
not
do
even
believe
top
that-
16 in EU. Like, you're
Well,
not
it's
even
not the
close to challenger. You're
players.
not
I mean,
even- No,
let's
but
refocus here. It's
have to
like
show results.
it's
Like,
not the players. It's literally the ones running the Esports saying that it's EU Duo's fault for not getting orgs in. Like, what?
I'm just saying they shouldn't cry about not getting an org, because if you're not showing any results, you have no chance about that. You should be crying about the system being bad. That's the only thing you can say. You can't say, oh yeah, why am I not having an org? Yeah, you should be saying, yeah, why is the system so bad for us, technically?
So this is where me and Forever will agree. I do not believe it's 75% EU Duo's fault. I think it is completely reliant on the fact that you are comparing a small region with like 16 teams to a region that has on average 80 teams. 16 to 80. That is a what?
Yeah, you can't compare the regions.
64 team difference? No, I'm sorry. That's where I will draw the line. It is not the duo's fault. It would be the duo's fault if they were a top team and they literally can't get a duo. Like if, for example, Shift or Mint decide to get promoted into TMCL and they can't find it. No, Serotonin, perfect one, because Serotonin is not a legal entity. Serotonin, they have the highest chance of making it into TMCL. If they can't get into TMCL because of their poor timing on trying to get a duo, that is their fault. But these other teams that can't even like get into top 8, like we're expecting them to have a org. That's ridiculous. It's madness. Yeah.
But to be fair though, do they even need an org? If you're not even top, if like,
no.
do you even? They don't. Like,
No.
let's just be honest about that. You don't have to get an organization for 37 teams within EU regionals. Like, that makes no fucking sense. Of course, it's a little bit unlucky for you if you are in EU and you're gonna look at the other regions, because they technically, quote unquote, have it easier to get an org. But that's just how life is sometimes,
Yeah.
The thing is that you also have to keep in mind that this is gonna be like in comparison with what happens on Track of the Day and the divisions. When you are playing in, for example, NICS is Division 36, they are playing with people that have the same or almost the same skill. When you're playing in APAC, you're playing with people that have almost the same skill. When you're playing in Europe, you're playing with opponents that have the same skills as you. And in order to win, in order to get top 1, you have to fight against all of them. So people on one side, yes, the format that they have is awful, whatever. But if you're a team and you're trying to get top 8, and then you get big as an opponent, and you're like, oh no, we're done because we have a big as an opponent. It's already a lose. It's like, what are you fighting for then? You have to win against everyone in order to be the one that you want to be, the top 8. And so you cannot make excuses for that.
Yeah, let me clarify something, because I don't want the smaller regions getting mad at us and trying to be like, you guys are being non-inclusive. There's a reasonable frustration. And when we say it's a bad format, we're only saying specifically for the EU region, because the format benefits smaller regions. Like for NCSA, APAC, MEA. Perfect format. It makes so much sense for these smaller regions to have this. Like, it makes so much more sense. Even if you wanted to do like a small round robin league, that would be amazing for these smaller regions. But for EU, you have to split it up. Now, the excuse is that they don't have enough manpower to do that. Okay, sure. But then you have to be able to at least commit to a system that is going to benefit and give the ability, as much exposure, I was about to say ability, but as much exposure to Europe, your main primary region, that is your biggest stakeholder in your entire esports, essentially. That is when we talk about stakeholders, we're not talking necessarily money, but just player capital. That is your players that are invested into your game. EU as a region is your highest and largest stakeholders of your game, of your esports ecosystem. And to basically treat them as the same as these smaller regions. I know these smaller regions, they want to have their moment, and I'm happy for them to have their moment. But for them to be treated equal as the European region is not any way, in what any shape or form healthy. And I know this format is followed after SRK's Fast Point format. I know exactly what this is. I'm not dumb. I know exactly where this is coming from. And his mild success from Fast Point has made him believe that somehow this is going to work on a grander scale. And to an extent, it has, again, for the smaller regions. But for Europe, your primary region, like when we're talking about Fast Point, when it was played in the European region, yeah, there was more players. But Fast Point, I'm going to be honest, like, who really was there for Fast Point that were like massive, like big names? Not that many players. Fast Point wasn't really like as massive as we like. I'm just being honest. This is how I viewed it. Not many people really cared about Fast Point. Now, I mean, go ahead, Shorty.
Yeah, I think because you're saying like we're comparing the small and EU regions. I think the main point or takeaway there is like, of course we value both, but the main point what we're trying to say is the system works for the small regions, yes, but the thing, I mean, it's the thing. It's not even the same system for EU. Like EU has it worse because it's not even best. You know, it's not even double elimination. Isn't that like that's the biggest problem? Like imagine EU would be double elimination. I think we wouldn't even have this discussion that much. I mean, that's the main problem because double elimination with that many teams is its trouble in itself. But why we are angry or not happy with this is basically because single elimination bracket is just inherently unfair to some degree, and double elimination bracket in itself already takes this unfairness so much away that double elimination in itself would be fair. Like imagine like NCSA region would have single elimination. I think we would be unhappy about that as well. Just the same thing.
I'm not saying that there weren't like actual bigger names in Fast Point. I'm just saying like in the general consensus of Fast Point, you cannot tell me realistically that people gave a crap about Fast Point. I'm sorry. You cannot
tell me. I don't really care about that, to be honest. I just want the regions to be fair, and single elimination is just
I'm not talking specifically to you. I'm responding to Forever, who's trying to trigger me.
Yeah, I know that you.
I want to interject here really quick, because these questions have come up in the Trackmania Discord as well. And many players from the top 8 of EU have complained about both Big being seed 1 and the tournament only being single elimination. And Softy said that they would take that feedback into consideration. So they're looking into potentially making EU work as double elimination, and then it would run 3 days of the weekend. But I don't know how that's going to work out just yet. We'll have to wait and see for stage 2.
What is the allergic reaction towards actually doing things during the week? Like
that is the
weekend?
issue.
Because
I
it's
don't
probably
get
difficult
it.
for most to accommodate a schedule for that. I mean, you can like for
I mean, if you just did it a couple rounds each evening, like
yeah, but some people just don't have time on that specific evening, you know. Like you can make you can make these time schedules work for TMGL, like for people that are highly invested, but you can't expect all of the regional teams to be as highly expected because they don't get anything out of it. Like TMGL players get something out of it, and TMCL players get something out of it. For them, it's actually worth it to be like, oh well, I have this evening. I do this at that evening, but oh well, it's TMGL. I have to accommodate my schedule, and then they move this appointment away from that day. But if you're playing in the regionals, that's too much to ask from them, even from some of the better regional players. You can't do that, I think.
Yeah, Creedy. Okay, man. Chatting of the day is here. All right. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I had to reference something. Anyways,
yeah. By the way, about Big, I never said that. I think like rule rights. I think Big didn't make anything wrong. Obviously,
I don't think it's Big's fault. I don't blame.
Yeah, no, of course, it's not Big fault, but
they just made a tactical move.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get points. If you can get points for doing that, of course you would do it. It's just smart. You need those points. Those points are important. But they just should not be allowed to do that. Like, they are getting their points through being TMGL. They are getting more or less points depending on their performance in TMGL. And therefore, they should not interfere with the regionals. It just doesn't make sense.
To be fair, they are trying a new format, rulebook, everything now.
Yeah.
I think that stuff like this to happen.
Yeah, it's
I
of
don't want to
course.
say that it would be normal because nothing is perfect, but this should have had a second review
I
on
think
what's
that I
gonna
think
happen and put yourself in all situations possible so you could avoid stuff like this.
I'm
you
not. I don't think that Nadeo did a bad job of allowing them. You know, I still think they should change that and they shouldn't allow those teams to play. I think the only thing that I definitely would highly criticize is the fact that out of the blue they changed the rules and make big seed 1. That's the only thing I'm gonna say that's definitely
That
wrong and they
is
should
really
not have done that.
sassy,
The
and
rest
it
is, you
shouldn't
know,
happen.
yeah.
Me and Speedy legit could talk an hour about how many times, and I'll call him out. Softy has changed his rules in his rulebook. How many times has he changed the rules in the rulebook this season, this first stage alone? I'm pretty sure there's been at least 20 revisions. I'm not even exaggerating. I think there's been legitimately 20 revisions and like very last minute notification of those revisions. And or oftentimes just it's sitting in the rule book and then completely deciding to go against the rule book. It brings into question, why the heck do we have a rule book in the first place when we're not going to follow any of the rules that you put in the rule book?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know that Softy is or at least I think that Softy is under a lot of stress and then under a lot of, you know, has to do a lot of stuff, but maybe in that case they need to, I don't know, figure out how to relieve that, because a rule book is exactly what it says. It's a rule book and you should not change it. Like, maybe there are some emergency stuff or sometimes, you know, things are unclear in a rule book where you have to make a split decision, you know, like something you didn't think through or something came up that the rulebook just is not clear about, and then obviously stuff like that happens. But if you have a rule written in the rulebook, then that should not be changed. Just, you know.
At least try to follow the rule book for the first season, and then, oh yeah, we made an oopsie, blah blah blah, we change it now, and then you go in with it again another season, and then you start changing it. But don't change it mid-season. Don't change it the day before something happens. Don't change it in the same day that things happens, just because for them it doesn't work. That is it. You know what it reminds me of? Those corrupted organizations that doesn't know how to work and they just do whatever they want because they are the organization.
Yeah, something that who reminded me of I just literally read it. Yeah, New Prime. Thank you, bro. Holy moly! Is something else that I forgot to mention. They decided to do top 8 last minute during the middle of the competition. So instead of doing top 8 on the start of Sunday, they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, top 8's going to be played today."
Why? Like, it doesn't
why?
even make it like
It
like,
makes no sense.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
I know why they did it. It's so that the TMGL TMCL playoffs could have their own more time. I think what day was that? Sunday. So TMGL. So
Yeah, but you need
TMGL
to
could have
announce
their
that early enough. Like, you
like. To be honest, this is my opinion. What's the? I mean, you're having virtual freaking streaming your main TMGL event anyways. Why does it matter that the main Trackmania channel is streaming the regional till the end of it? Like, what's the big deal? If you're gonna just give up on your main channel, but then you don't want to clash with your, like, come on. The business decisions make me mauled. Like, I'm sorry. You can say I'm a nobody. That's perfectly fine. But I understand esports. It's been something that I've been doing since like 2014, 2013 and like different bigger esports things. And what's happening is what many would consider a catastrophe. Like,
I
You know
don't
what
think
we
you need
need
to
here?
understand a lot of esports to say that not abiding by your rules multiple times and frequently is a bad thing.
yeah, I mean, like Trackmania Esports is not going to die tomorrow. So like maybe I am being a little bit dramatic, but this is not a good trend of the terrible mismanagement of not only your rules but just how you handle your production and Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked enough about this. So, you know what? If you want to report me, that's perfectly fine. And you know what better way to talk about being reported in a little bit? We'll talk about that. But
Okay,
right
well,
now,
I want to say something for last.
Yes. Sorry.
I do believe that we need a department on Nadeo, and it's only focus on esport, and hopefully work with people that have experience in esports.
If you have an esports department, it needs to be more than just one person. That's all I'm going to say. The one person who's in charge needs to get a group.
Isn't it technically two persons?
It's
like
it's still one individual who's making all the shots. Like props to SRK. He's trying his darndest, bro, but like SRK does not make any of the shot calls. He provides a lot of suggestions, which Nadeo clearly has listened to him on a lot of things. But outside of that, SRK makes zero decisions. And oftentimes he is the one, especially with the rulebook changes, he finds out last minute too. And he tries to get it to the team managers as quickly as possible to try to like at least make sure that we're not salvage it as best as he can. So he's trying his best. I give him props to that. He's a little he's got some Pepega kind of like moments, especially like with certain topics, but outside of that, I respect the man. I respect the hustle that he's trying to do. But yeah, anyways, let's get on with this. We're going to go quickly through TMGL, TMCL. None of us watched any of these matches, so we're just going to go through them really quickly.
I watched two.
Oh, you watched two? I didn't watch any. Team BDS beat Solari in the winners bracket. BDS won 2-1. I'm sure that was a great match. Didn't get to see it though. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, cancel my TMGL for none.
Let's go. Carmine Court beat Alliance 2-1. Honestly, expected result. I didn't see the match either. I'm sure it was great too.
This match was fire. Yeah, if you can watch the replay of the match, do it. Yeah, it was good.
Okay, so next. Gamers First beat ITB. Forever I Love You, but low-key, this was kind of expected. I low-key kind of expected this.
Forever open it Twitter.
And I don't know. I'm assuming Odablock streamed. I didn't watch it, so there's no G1 update of whether he streamed or not. Next. Yeah, Challenger League playoffs is also happening this weekend. By the way, I will be casting on Turbo's channel for TMCL. Ooh. All of the TMCL matches, starting with Ominode Sun versus Schweine Aim, and then all the way to the grand final. So I will be there with Turbo for the first match, and then Turbo's going to let me alone on his stream. See how that goes. Yeah, I'm gonna be casting solo on Turbo stream. Let's see how that one goes.
You were expecting a lot of people to watch you. Now you're getting a lot of people to watch you cast. So
yeah, I guess. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, me and Turbo are gonna cast Ominode Sun and Schweine Aim together, and then I will cast the last two matches alone unless Turbo comes back in time, but he has prior arrangements, so he decided to reach out to me, and I appreciate it. So yeah, I will be on Turbo stream casting that. Of course, you can watch the main Trackmania stream, which probably honestly, well, actually no, wait, is TMCL do the main Trackmania thing? Yeah, so probably should support that too, because that would maybe help Nadeo realize that maybe they should continue to stream on their main channel. But anyways, next, and then Grand League playoffs is also going to be happening on March 12th and 19th, starting with Carmine Corp versus Gamers First in the losers bracket semifinal. Then whoever is the winner will play against Solari, and then the winner of Solari versus the other winner of the previous match will play against BDS in the grand final. I could talk about the format. Format's kind of interesting, at least I think.
What do you think about the tie? I wanted to ask, what do you think about the tiebreaker? Because I just figured how it
makes no sense to me, to be honest. But
it should be a full series. Again,
it should be a full series.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get
to be honest, I feel like grand final should be a best of 7. I know that sounds ridiculous and that would be a very long match, but I think it should be. And then whoever's coming from the winners bracket gets a win, like a first win. That would solve.
Yeah. Makes sense, to be fair. Makes a lot of sense.
So then it would be just 1 up over in a best of 7, and whoever gets 4 points win. Well, 4 points and like 4 match wins, obviously. So it'd be like 7 sets of best of 5 maps or whatever it'd be a long match, but I think it would be 10 times better than what is happening with that decider.
I just don't like the decider. I don't know. I don't care if how many maps they play for each series, but it should be 3 full series. Like just one single tiebreaker map is just a little bit anticlimactic. Like it just doesn't feel like it gives the matches justice.
Honestly, I feel like I understand where they're coming from. I feel like they just have a boomer that they listen to, and the boomer comes in, he's like, guys, so like I've been watching your games, right? And like, you know what would be really exciting? Because we all love those exciting last hit moments, right? And so what we should do is when they're both tied 1-1 in the series, what we're gonna do, oh, you mean a full match? No. We're gonna hit them with a one single decider map. Everything that they've gone on to is in a coin flip map that they're gonna have to play once and then get those 10 points and win. And that's gonna be so freaking awesome. Like, sponsors are gonna love it. Everybody's gonna be cheering. It's gonna be great. I'm telling you, somebody is there feeding this garbage into their brains. But yeah,
I mean, to be fair, maybe it is like that. I hope it's not. I hope it's just time wise or something like that. But like schedule wise, obviously it's difficult to, accommodate for like a full series every single time. It comes down to being standing 1-1 after 2 series, but you just gotta find a way to accommodate for that, because just a single tiebreaker, it is what it kind of is, like a coin flip, and it just doesn't seem fair to me.
No, it doesn't seem very exciting. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, of course, it's exciting. I mean, that's probably the point why it is there, but it's just not fair. And to be fair though, I think that the players, like the Team GL and CL players, are gonna complain about the same thing, and they're gonna say, yeah, it should be a full series. I think
I agree.
Yeah, so that's fine. But yeah, I was just looking at that and I was like, huh? Why is it 1-0? And then I looked it up and I was like, huh.
Yeah, Turbo had to explain it to me, and I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, fam, it's.
I mean, look at BDS with the Solary. Like, second series, Solary is beating them 4-0, and then you have a tiebreaker 10-9 for BDS. Like, I don't know. It's a little bit mean losing like that. I would feel like shit.
All right, well, I think, is that it for TMGL? Oh, no, wait. Oh, yeah, promo relegation. Hello, the thing that matters that we've been, like, grinding for the last 3 months. Hello.
Why is there a team that looks like Chanel? Sorry.
Yes, that is Coco Mech. That is Coco Mech. I don't know, but that is Volnera Hydra. That's the duo. It's Volnera and Hydra. Yeah, so promo relegation is happening not this weekend, but the next weekend. And Evo is in there. We made it to seed 7 above Coco Mech, funnily enough. So yeah, we're seed 7, this EU number 7 seed coming in. And yeah, they also, speaking of rule changes, they also mixed around the seeding for this as well. Luckily, we kind of know ahead of time though, but at first it was kind of looking weird.
I mean, did they change it to the better? Because then I don't really mind.
I think it is for the better, because at first,
like, Evo, not out of Evo, obviously not from the point of view from Evo, but in the general point of view.
But at first the way it was looking like the seeding was going was that the smaller regions had a higher seed than the EU region, which made no sense. But now it's fixed. So
yeah, then I don't even mind it, because it's the first time it's happening, and if this change is done, like, announced early enough, and it's a change to the better, then you should I think that's fine to do that.
What? Okay. So Exalty, Easy Dream are coming from Team CL. And then you have Serotonin Esports, Utopia, Ascent, Glorious Esports, Mint, Arctic Rappers, Evo, and Coco Mech as the EU regions. From APAC, it is Vobi, IDN, and Dynasty. That is an Indonesian team and a Australian team. Then from MEA, that is FUT Esports, that's Birdie and Chemco. And then Molotov Gaming, which is Ignite and Huso. Then from NCSA, it is Damascus Gaming, Neil Nexotica, and 100% Canadians. I'm honestly kind of excited to see Damascus play in this, because I think they're going to do okay. But actually, I didn't realize that Evo Pink played against Damascus and they lost like very closely 3-4. So I think Damascus can be somewhat competitive, but then they lost to Team Jail, which was Epos and Acros. So I don't know. We'll see. Because Evo Pink trashed Team Jail, but lost against Damascus, and it was kind of back and forth. It was kind of this weird like triangle, like beating each other kind of thing, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. So Evo Pink's first match is going to be against FUT Esports though, in the very first round. So that should be pretty exciting to see Deska and Stuffs play against Birdie Chemko. Birdie thinks that they're not better, or thinks they're worse. At least the last time I talked to Birdie was not confident and thinking that his duo was better than Deska and Stuff. So I'm very curious to see how that first match could go. I think Evo could easily win, but I think it'll be a close match regardless. So it'll be fun to watch. And you guys should watch that because we'll be streaming it on this channel on Twitch as well for you Spotify people. If you want to watch that, that'll be happening on that weekend. Yes.
Oh, then I have to watch something.
Yes. And also, as something I forgot about Evo, is that we also were in the middle of the last regional. We were practicing different coaching. So I did the coaching, the shot calling for the first 2 rounds, and then Speedy actually came in for the last 2 rounds. So we're also trying some things around, seeing how that benefits or doesn't for the players and everything, kind of seeing how that works for them and everything. So hopefully we can kind of get a system going down. But everybody wish Deska luck because he's defending his thesis for his university. So
God.
So IRL
Nice
stuff
timing.
comes first. So wish the Deska guy luck. That everything goes well for that. He's doing that this next week here. So hopefully he can get that done and get it good. All right. Well, if you guys haven't liked anything that we've been talking about today, honestly, I'm just gonna tell you to report us because yeah.
No, please don't. I'm not sus.
Yeah, just report us, especially me. Like, you guys want to cancel me? Report me. Fine, do it. I'm not afraid. I am afraid. Please don't report me.
I mean, we did miss a lot of TMGL and CL stuff, so that's natural that we talk more about that this week. I mean, to be fair, the promotion and the relegation is probably one of the most exciting things that can happen outside of the TMGL and CL stuff, like the regionals. I think a lot of people may be interested in the regionals, but ultimately, I think, especially after the first regional stage, nobody really is that interested in how the second and third round is going to go, because you kind of expect the same teams to do similarly well. You're more interested in how the teams from the different regions are going to play against each other, and especially in comparison to CL teams.
Yep.
Like, that's just, I don't know. At least to me, that's just so much more exciting. Like, I wanna see some team, like, especially like perfectly, of course, Evo Pink stomp like on Easy Dream on Exalty. Like, that's kind of what I want to see.
That would be amazing. But before we get into this topic, the tweet that Chris has shown up on here, it's by Derek, basically saying that player was banned, but please note you can report directly on Trackmania. And but anyways, funny enough, this tweet, Zam Kim reported a player through a tweet or whatever, and it was this player with this like really nasty name. And the only reason I'm going to talk about this for a quick second is because I actually played with this player in matchmaking.
Oh, for real?
And was it a nice experience?
I came across this player in matchmaking, and I was like, what? I was so confused. I'm not gonna say their name. Is like, you can go find it on the Twitter thing, but yeah, it was. Funny enough, the person was like, didn't say anything. They actually try-harded. Like, they actually played the game normally. So I was like, okay, this is weird, but it was so. Plot twist, they were duo queuing. Oof, no. No. We're not doing that. Yeah, no, but it was just kind of funny to see that other people also reported him, because we sent off screenshots and everything to Nadeo.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of blew up on Twitter a little bit for like that one day it happened.
A little bit, yes.
I was like, man, how did The fact that he was there for so long was surprising to me. Like that guy definitely has had that name and that tag for like at least a couple days, and it was like,
I mean,
dang.
you can just look at the Twitter thread and see how difficult it is to report a player properly, and nobody's gonna be like, oh well, this match is against this guy was so bad, I'm gonna go through that, I'm gonna find him on trackmania.io, and I'm gonna go on the Trackmania's website, and then I'm gonna change the URL to something, and then I'm gonna report it. You're just gonna be like, what a dick, and then you're gonna search the next match. Like that's what you're gonna do.
There's an easier way. You don't have to change the URL. There's literally a button.
Yeah,
that links to
I
the profile.
expected you don't have to change the URL, but man, can we just make the story more exciting by those lines? No.
Reporting a player on
It's
Trackmania is
no.
like doing a
I mean, the
quest on
fact
an
you have to go
RPG.
outside of. Yeah, sorry, say again. I talked over you. No, I meant Lime. I talked over her.
Lime?
Huh? Oh yeah, I said that reporting a player in Trackmania is like doing a quest on an RPG. RPG game. They put you a step, and like 10 steps just to report a player, and then you're like on the second one, and you're like, you know what, this is not worth my time, and you just don't report people at all.
I mean, in general, as soon as you have to go outside of the game to report somebody, people are just gonna do it.
You know what? In League of Legends, I used to do the manual report when I was like, you're giga mad at someone trolling me and flaming me and stuff. But that was the only time that I would go outside the game to report someone because I really wanted them to be banned.
League of Legends matches are also longer, though. Compared to Trackmania matches, so maybe it gets more annoying than a Trackmania match.
Yes. But there has been so many people, and you know what it surprises me of this game is that you literally have no, or I don't think that you have a filter for bad names, because I do know that in other games you cannot use certain words as a username or as a club or anything, but in Trackmania it's like free. You can literally write whatever you want and it's gonna come in.
That's not entirely true. The nickname system goes through Ubisoft Connect, and they do have a bad word filter. But yeah, for club names, there's no such filter as.
Yeah, because this guy was on a club, if I'm not wrong. He was on a club that has the word that should not be said on a stream or anywhere. It
was a homophobic slur. Yep.
Yeah.
Bad.
I mean, to be fair though, the good thing about this, we're talking about it because there's gonna be an in-game system soon. So soon it's gonna be finally easy to just be like, yep, bad name, goodbye. Report.
Yeah, it's coming as soon as 2v2 and matchmaking. Surely. Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair though. Like,
priority is. I mean, to be fair, report button is a priority. It should have been something that was released on day one, but whatever. Anyways,
I mean, they truly believe that this Trackmania community wasn't toxic at all, so they were
they probably did not expect the game to blow up like this. So.
Man, how you can create a game and literally think that it won't blow up? Like, why are you making something if you don't think that it would be as big as you want them to be? Like,
I mean, the release of Trackmania 2020 has been as rushed as all the other Trackmania releases, so they did not have time for that. But
that is one thing that I always, since I start playing this game, that I have heard is all the time, we don't have time. We don't have time.
I mean, it's probably true, but it's still at some point it's a bad excuse, because if you don't have time, you maybe just need more personal. I don't know. It's a difficult topic, but yeah, it's about time we get an in-game report system.
Supposedly that's coming April 1st. April 1st. KEW. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see if they meet their deadlines or not. But I hope they do, for their sake. But then the thing is, though, just because there's a report function does not mean that all our problems are going to go away, because usually, I don't know about any of y'all, but even with the report function, especially in some games, that report function is there, and then like all those reports go into a filing system, and like they just get backlogged, and they just don't even care anymore. So like,
we will
we
see
hope
about
that it's we'll hope that it doesn't get like that, but.
Hopefully it doesn't get like CSGO reporting system that you report someone and nothing actually happens.
Yeah, but I imagine where it's eventually the reporting's going to get really backlogged, especially if they only have like 1 or 2 people working on it, the reports and everything, and it's just going to be a hot mess, but we'll see. We'll see how it
I mean, to be
goes.
fair, they can't just they can't just insta ban someone because he got reported. I think they have to go through some. First we're gonna, terminate your account for like 24 hours, then for like 2 days, and then after 3 occasions or something, they can finally ban him.
Yep.
I think
Why are you
something
trying to
like that.
report IBO, Chris? That's not allowed, okay? You know what? Here, you can have your console technical test portion. Let's go into it, because Chris right now on the stream, for those who are watching Spotify, is showing giving his console POV right now. So yeah,
I
also
honestly just wanted to show off the reporting function in game because it's actually quite. You can.
Wait, you already have it.
watching Spotify with that.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
So the console test, yes, it has the in-game reporting functionality.
And by the way, Chris can talk today, so sorry. I forgot to mention.
Hello.
This is Chris's section. Chris gets to have his moment. Let him have his moment, okay? Nobody get angry that
Chris,
Chris is talking.
Chris, can you please introduce yourself to this?
Yeah, Chris, can you introduce yourself? Introduce him, please.
I'm Chris, the broadcaster guy. I do the back-end stuff for this podcast. Well, I do the productions. Hello, Winke, everybody. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Yes, a bunch of new features in the console test. Actually, that will
Are
be
you
coming...
actually allowed to show that?
Yes,
by the way,
just
asking.
Yes.
Because I have no idea.
I also made sure. I was like, huh?
Console release stuff or console technical test stuff is fine to be streamed. But yeah, so we have the in-game reporting functionality in here. It's only like a first version, but basically you can go onto a player's profile and report them either for their name or for the skin they're using. Go in there, blah blah blah, and then you have like a bunch of reasons why you want to report them.
Terrorist threat.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things.
Fragment. Oh.
Sexual harassment, bug advertising, bunch of stuff.
Bug advertising.
Well, I think it's meant to be bug abusing, but yeah. You can also report clubs.
Oh no, Evo reports coming in.
You can do for like copyright infringement, incitement to hatred, discrimination content, stuff like that.
That's gonna go out of hand so quick.
Explain or something like that.
What?
Can you only click those buttons, or do you also get a text field where you can like say this and that?
So this is a first version. This build is from mid-February. I'm assuming that this is gonna be more expanded on once it releases. This is just the version that we have access to now. But yes, you can also report individual maps and a bunch of other stuff. Another new thing that they added was, if you go into ranked mode, many people have been asking for this. There's now a matchmaking leaderboard on the ranked screen.
Oh my god!
Finally!
It's like you flex with my friends.
Yeah, you can sort by your regions and stuff, all the way down to your local region. Here. I can flex my 66 matchmaking points.
Can you scroll it?
No, it goes like the top 10 of each regional thing. It's like the records, sort of.
Only top 10. That's
I don't know.
Like at least top 100 would be nice.
Oh well, it's something.
But maybe we can still get that.
Yeah. Cross-platform invites work for matchmaking. Same for Royal. There's no 2v2 mode in here yet, so we couldn't have tested those. Apart from that, yeah, everything works pretty smoothly on PlayStation 5 at least. I know PS4 has some hitching issues, and Xbox apparently has some input lag. Sadly, but apart from that, I'm surprised that it runs as well as it does. I even played Spaghetti on this. My PS5 struggled for like 3 minutes to load the map, but it works. The only map I haven't tested yet is Threat of Ariadne, but supposedly it's running. fine-ish.
Interesting.
So yeah, it keeps the 60 FPS. No problems. I'm
That's good
very,
to hear.
very positively surprised. I'm not gonna live test it, Snip, and this is probably gonna take 10 minutes to load, and we don't have that much time.
I mean, when I read that some guy has both a PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation 4, and he was writing on, PlayStation 4 does have some minor FPS drops here and there, but it's totally playable and it's a good experience. I was like, huh, that sounds like my PC, which was 3 times the cost of a PS4. What the fuck? But yeah, I'm definitely also like, I mean, I didn't test it myself, but from what I've read and what I've heard, it's actually it's pretty impressive, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little demonstration of the reporting system.
Yay!
Yeah,
And that was Chris.
Big props to Nadio. They've actually done a good job with this console port. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but from what I've heard and read, same. Guys, do you think people are gonna get reported for cutting?
Bro,
because there's bug abusing?
How many people are gonna just report our club for just being our club? That's my thing.
We've been attention to horse.
Many,
I think many. Actually,
what
will be their judgment of the reports? Like, because
I'm curious. How that's
what if you get so many reports?
What if there's an
just because people
function?
hate you?
Yeah. What if there's like an automatic function that they have? That could be a yikes, because like I could.
To my knowledge, all reports are checked manually, and they already have ways to deal with report system abusers.
Sorry, whoever was like, don't worry, there is an attention whore option. You also said something earlier that just had me dying. What? Forever, you're on a banger today. You said, I just wanted to remind that they were just talking about Trackmania blowing up. IMO, that's reportable. Nobody gets it because it's flying over the head. Blowing up, like blowing up things, bombs, like reportable.
Yes,
you made me explain it. Now it's not funny anymore.
I'm a German. I have no humor. What do you expect?
True. My bad. I'm sorry for being non-inclusive.
You can only make bad puns. That's the only thing I can
do. Yeah. Thanks, import. Yeah, that needs to be a command. Thanks. Yeah, so I guess we talk about XPEvo news now.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what exactly I talked about last time, but for those of you who might be new to the stream, hey, guess what? XPEvo is a LAN that's happening in Cologne, Germany on September 22nd to the 24th. It's going to be pretty freaking amazing, and you should be there and plan to be there, because this is the successor event. Yes. Not successful, successor. It is the event that is successing Trackmania that happened in Hamburg at Arcadia Hotel. And unfortunately, Arcadia Hotel, they had to close down due to some very high maintenance costs that were unforeseen. And so unfortunately, they went into the mud. They laid off like all their employees. Unfortunately, one of the individuals who ran Trackmania, Wemser, he also unfortunately is no longer there with them. And so there was no way to have a Trackmania 2. So we were given the blessing, and we decided to go look for a new venue. And XPEvo, the heroes, have come in, swooped in to save the day. And honestly, I am super excited to see what is going to be happening with XPEvo and how that's just things are already forming right now. We have our format ready for the most part. We have pretty much the rule sets for the most part thought out. Even we have like a rough draft of the schedule and everything. It's going to be really
change the rule book.
Yeah. Yeah. So like it's going to be pretty insane, I think. I was telling the guys earlier today that I will not claim. None of us are going to claim. If somebody from Evo claims that this is going to be the best tournament ever, they're lying to you. I don't think it's going to be the best tournament ever, but I do think it's going to be the largest international tournament for Trackmania in 2023, and that's why I think you should go, because it's going to be a large community event. It's not just going to be a tournament. It's going to be a community event to meet up with your friends that maybe you've never met before, or friends you haven't seen in a long time. There's going to be side events for different styles. Like, we're going to have full speed of the week with Oxra. He's going to come in and do full. I just said that twice. Whatever. Full speed of the week is going to be happening during the event.
That was a leak.
It's kind of been planned. I mean, full speed community's already been talking about it, but I mean, like,
I'm in the full speed community and I didn't know. No,
I'm trying to get some influencers to come out, and if that's the case, there'll be meetups for the influencers. They'll be able to have their own side events. We'll have a creative event. We'll have things. We're going to have breaks this time instead of just slogging through a 10-hour day of gaming. We're going to actually have some lunch breaks and dinner breaks so everybody can catch a breather. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a lot more. I mean, Trackmania was already chill, but I'm hoping that this event will also kind of fit that vibe, but not also be super crazy for those who are playing in the tournament, because they were constantly at their computers. They didn't really have any time to like have a life outside of the tournament. So hopefully that is going to pan out in the way that I hope it is. I was about to mention that. Really mad. Just let me get to the point, bro.
Faster, you have to
get to the point faster. Bro, Chris is like, show the logo. He's been like freaking out all day about the logo, and we're getting there, but not yet. All right.
He's just making the best out of the fact he's allowed to talk today.
Yes, I am. So that is not everything. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is, now I don't remember. If you are wanting to help with the event, specifically in the more content creation side rather than the like organizer side, because we kind of have the organizer side pretty much handled, I think, at this point. But if you are a content creator, we definitely could use your help. Know that we cannot pay anybody anything. This is Trackmania. Nobody makes money. Like, the pro players, they make like $100 for a season. That's nothing. Like, so like, nobody makes money. Evo is not making money. XPEvo is footing the entire bill for this. So we rely on our own community to help get this done, and also the Trackmania community as a whole. So we really do appreciate it if you guys are willing to help. So definitely reach out to me or Atomic. Atomic's the project manager for this. I'm kind of just like his co-guy. Ticket prices, I can leak ticket prices, I guess. Know that these might be changed in the future. But ticket prices are
leaking again.
Yeah. So ticket prices are going to change, but also stay the same. So entry into the tournament, there's going to be 3 tiers. The first tier is just an entry into the tournament as a whole. And that is just to hang out. You'll have access to PC. This is the difference between this year's venue and last year's venue. This year's venue, all the PCs are free to play. You will have access to a PC, assuming they're not occupied, the entirety of the tournament. Because there will be some PCs that are not allocated to the event, that are allocated to, because it's like a store and a venue, but it's huge. It's 2 stories. So there are PCs that are outside of our purview that will be free to play, as well as consoles and everything. Those will be free to play, so you'll have something to play compared to last year, where you were kicked out for whatever reason.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Roughly, how many PCs and consoles do they have? So
I think upwards of 200, but I know specifically for our event, there's going to be 64 PCs for our event specifically. So just a little bit more than what Arcadia had. And then we have 10 PCs extra just in case for other things. But yeah, 64 PCs. And then as people get eliminated, which we expect to have them eliminated like at the beginning of Saturday, pretty much, majority of the people out. We expect to be top 32 pretty much.
Okay. I understand now.
Yeah, because the format for right now is that our plan is to do double elimination at top 32 rather than top 64. And we decided that because top 64 double elimination is a little bit too much when top 32 makes more sense time-wise, and it gives people more time to do other things. Especially with free-to-play PCs and everything, there's an arena to watch the matches and everything. Like, the venue is banging. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, ticket prices. So baseline to attend the event is going to be €10 for the entire weekend. I think everybody can do that. That €10 goes automatically to either A, paying for the costs for our production, because the production, they don't have in-house production, so we have to find a way to fund the production company that's going to be doing production for us for the event, for the stream and everything and the show. So that's going to cover production costs, or it's going to go to the prize pool. We're looking to match, if not exceed, the prize pool from Trackmania last year. Then, so €10 just to attend, €35, which was last year's cost, €35 to enter into the tournament. So €35 to enter into the tournament. And then there is a VIP option again, but this time it's going to be a little bit more expensive because we have a lot bigger plans, which I will not reveal yet. But VIP right now is looking at €110 range, but there's a reason for that, because there's going to be not an empty space with the couch and a big TV and 3 PCs. It's going to be a little bit more involved this time. So yeah, €10 to attend. I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah. So I think those prices are fair. People were buying the €35 ticket, the entry into the tournament, thinking that was just to attend the event. And it was kind of funny when I presented this to XPEvo, because they're like, is that going to be too expensive? The €10? I was like, no. They were buying €35 tickets just to attend the event, even though the event was free to attend to. So
I mean, I kind of did that as well, because I didn't practice and I didn't intend to play. So
yeah, so I mean,
I didn't even bring my stuff. Oopsie.
Yeah, but all that money, like, assuming that the numbers that I have are the numbers that I have of predictions of how many people are going to attend and how many people buy tickets and everything, all that money should be able to go directly to the prize pool. Again, Evo is not getting paid anything. XPEvo has taken a massive loss on this, so like, props to them for them being able to. But yeah, we need some Oilers in the chat. Like, if you want to sponsor, like, or if you know sponsors who are interested, like, we will take literally anything. I'm trying to contact some old sponsors from Trackmania. We're trying to contact some other people. But if you guys have any connections, like, I definitely would appreciate it. Because my biggest thing is covering production costs, because that's an astronomical amount I don't even want to think about right now.
Do you need to bring your own keyboard and mouse again? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah. I don't think you need a keyboard. If I remember correctly, mouse and keyboard are provided, but controller, if you want a controller, you need to bring your own controller.
I mean, I would as a Trackmania player, you always bring your own controller. I think that's obvious, but
to be honest, I would say just bring your own peripherals, because you may prefer your own peripherals, but they will have peripherals there. But as far as controller,
I'm not
they will
gonna bring my peripherals. Good.
Yeah. So.
Not good. No, I mean, obviously, if you're playing with keyboard, you're also gonna bring your own keyboard. But otherwise, I mean, mouse for Trackmania, you don't. At least I don't care about that.
Mouse?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, true. There may be someone doing that.
That is the plan for right now. I think those prices are fair for everyone, and I want to make sure the VIP section is a lot more worth than what it was last year, because holy crap, that VIP section. Everybody agrees. I told Vemzer, he agrees as well. That's how bad the VIP section was. If anybody doesn't know what the VIP section was, was, I mean, I kind of explained already, but it was a TV, like a little TV. I mean, I guess it was a big screen TV, but still, it was janky. A couch. There were 3 or 4 PCs on the wall, and then like a couple tables with some chairs in this big room that was like cold, or it was just cold and like very white and open, and just like it felt super empty. And I think they had access to like some free drinks or something like that, but the VIP was like so bad. It was so bad. So I'm hoping the VIP section will be a little bit more interesting this time around. So
more VIP.
More BIP. More BIP.
Yeah, we can think about that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
yeah, well, I have a good plan so far, and then yeah, and if you are an influencer, you should be able to stream there. That is something that I tried to make sure and ensure already. So yeah, if you are planning to stream there, I don't know if that's going to be a VIP ticket thing, which if you're a bigger influencer, I'm going to be honest, you're not going to have to pay. But if you are somebody who wants to stream and you're like, not big, I'm sorry, it be the way it be, you're going to have to pay. Sorry. We got to make money somehow to cover the expenses that we ain't even going to be able to cover a portion of. So,
I mean,
yeah.
sounds pretty fair.
Yeah, but I think it's fair. All right, Chris, it's your time. Throw it up there. Give the people what they want.
Yeah, first I want to say thank you to Mello for those 10 gift subs.
Oh,
you
yes.
didn't have to do that. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yes.
All right.
We are
revealing Trackmania Esports. Good.
We are revealing the logo, the brand for the event for XPEvo now. Bam.
Da-da-da-da.
There it is. Man, on this background, it kind of looks janky, not gonna lie. But
can we explain that now for the viewers that listen to Spotify or something else? Like, is someone
yes.
able to explain that?
It is XPEvo in large letters, and it uses the Evo, like our watermark with like the circle with like the two black lines in it dashing out. So it's XPEvo with our circle but shaped differently. Chris can post it on Twitter. You can find it on our Twitter. How about that? And follow the Twitter. We're almost to 1,000 followers. How about that? Easy. And it uses a mix of our colors with Experience colors. Experience uses red, white, and blue, where you obviously have our pink. So it's a mix from the pink to the blue. By the way, thank you, Kisla, for making this logo. This is Kisla. Shoutouts to Kisla for our logo.
Kisla was on the chat.
Yes, and Kisla was in the chat. But Kisla not only made this logo, but they also made our original Evo logo. So
Kisla is really good at that stuff.
Kisla is amazing, and I would not know what to do without Kisla. So thank you, and this branding is going to be cool. Maybe some merch related to this stuff as well. We'll try to see if we can't get merch, like actual t-shirts or something like that, for the event and everything. I want to plan a like what my brain. I want to plan like a pre-order thing for tickets and everything, like a pre-sale, and then also I want to be able to do merch with it, because again, like covering the cost of what we're trying to get to. If we're able to cover the costs, then everything else is pretty much going to go straight to prize pooling. Nadeo, I believe, is going to be funding some prize, not funding, but like at least giving some goodies out. XPErion will also be handing out like stuff as well for them as part of like prize pooling. So hopefully everything is going to come together. Worst comes to worst, this is a community event first and foremost, so everybody's here to just hang out with each other, meet each other, have something that they can call a gathering place. And we're really just wanting it to be fun. That's all that matters to me. Like the tournament, the stream, those are bells and whistles, but I really just want the community to be able to have something that is accessible to everybody and is central to Europeans and overall the world, I guess, for those, because there may be some Americans apparently coming out from my understanding. So, and others from other places. So
I mean, it's a big difference compared to other events like back with Gamers Assembly. Of course, you also had, it was a big meetup and it was a lot of fun, but it was like Trackmania was only. No,
it's
that's
French.
not what I wanted to say.
It's French. Say it.
Oh
Say
my
it. You
No,
know it's true.
No.
It's French.
Well, yes, of course it was French, but
It's
what
French.
what I wanted to say is it's a big difference if it was only like Trackmania was there, but Trackmania was only one of the events next to a lot of other things. So you literally only went to the venue to like play, but not really like the meeting up was outside of the venue itself, which automatically meant like it was split up groups and stuff like that. But with XPEvo and with Trackmania last year, Trackmania is like the main thing. So you go there for Trackmania. You can hang out in the venue with Trackmania people. You don't have to find a different separate venue or some other place where you're gonna meet up after playing or like after you're out. You know. Obviously, you can still do that. You can still in the evening go somewhere else, of course, but you don't have to. Like that's the nice thing.
I mean, there'll probably be somewhat of a different vibe from Trackmania to XPEvo, and I think that's simply because Trackmania was literally a hotel, and many of the people were staying at the hotel.
True.
And obviously that's not going to be the case at XPEon, because XPEon is owned by Saturn, and Saturn is an electronics store, kind of like a Best Buy for those who know what Best Buy is. MediaMarkt. Those kind of stores. So Saturn and MediaMarkt are owned by the same company. But yeah, it's like the front is like a store, but then the rest is like an actual LAN area and everything. So yeah, it'll be a different vibe, but they also have like a Red Bull bar. They don't sell alcohol there. They have a Red Bull bar. And then I think they have snacks there as well. And then for those who are coming for the alcohol, we have a plan for that actually.
Yeah. I'm listening very intently.
Yes. So I'm not gonna give any promises, but we're trying to look for a place that everybody can go to after on Sunday. So where Trackmania had its black, white, pink party that wasn't for Trackmania people there, we're gonna have a venue hopefully that I'll be talking. Me, Chris, and Phenom will be talking to, and hopefully have a venue that we can go to after Saturday is over. Maybe Friday too, but we'll see. No promises. We're trying. We're trying our best to make sure that all our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. Yeah, okay. All right, it's getting too long. Yeah, but if you weren't planning to be there, I would highly encourage you to plan to be there. And I think there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of known people that are also going to attend, and some people who have already said they are going to attend. The casting lineup is already set and sealed, delivered. Many of those who were there last year are coming back this year. There may be a new face or two on the production, on the casting side. And we'll announce that once we do our announcements. Official announcements, like I've already been leaking all this stuff. You guys already know what's happening pretty much. But like the official announcement is probably going to happen beginning of May. But at that point, we will have like rule sets, map pack request, all that stuff at the beginning of May. That is our timeline right now that we're shooting for. So that is when you can expect our official, like, okay, it's time to do pre-orders for tickets. Okay, it's time to do this and that. Like this, it'll be the time for you guys to actually start interacting with us rather than us just talking about it. So
by the way, Import, I have a really great idea for like making a little bit of money maybe.
Okay,
it's amazing. Like listen, this is amazing. So I went to DreamHack Leipzig 2 times in a row, and they always had different. Obviously, they also had different price tiers. I mean, even more than with experience, but you don't need those. But they had like a very simple like buy up option where you, instead of paying like whatever it was 50, instead of 50 you paid $55, and then when you arrived at your spot, like you had designated PCs, like you literally had the number and you went to that number, like already on the day of your arrival there would be sitting a nice little cacti for you. And I don't know why, but I just always loved it. I like this random fucking this random idea. Now I said it.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
I definitely want to do
It was so cool. It was like, I
No,
saw that on the website.
that makes
I was
sense
like,
though.
damn, I'm getting
Yeah,
a
that's cool.
cacti. Hell yeah, I want a cacti.
Yeah, Cactus is happening still, I think. Did Cactus happen yet, or is that still happening? Or when's that happening? Because Cactus Land is happening in Leipzig, like here pretty soon. Or
Okay.
did it happen?
I don't know about that, but that was
Yeah, apparently
really funny
Cactus Land in Leipzig is supposed to have like another is wanting to have a Trackmania event, and I just never reached out to them. So, because XPEvo is my is
yeah.
my,
I mean, you can't run two things at the same time. Maybe next year if they are still
but
interested.
like that's something I definitely want to do is like with a pre-order, like be able to like give something. Now we wouldn't be able to do like PC because like it's only 64 PCs, and I'm expecting if 150 people entered the tournament last year and we're expecting to meet that number, if not exceed it, then there's no way. There's no way. So hopefully we could just do something that's like a pre-order, like they get like a cool like gift or something.
It just has to be something funny.
It has to be something.
I don't know, like something you bring up. I don't know. I like the idea. You know, the cacti you can just bring home and you just.
It's a good idea.
You can put it somewhere and you're gonna like it's low effort. I mean, who the fuck lets a cacti die? Except my sister. Both of them, by the way. Both of them.
Cacti and you put the logo on the pot of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that's what DreamHack did. They just put a logo on the pot of the cacti.
Oh, and Chris posted the Twitter with the new logo. So if you're on Spotify, you should go see the Twitter. It is our Twitter at EvoTM. You should go check that out and see your logo. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, Q&A with chat. Any questions? Is it maybe possible to reach out to a hotel or hostel for a cooperation or maybe discounted price so everyone can stay together again? That is something that we thought about doing. Experian has a deal with a hotel, but I'm telling you the rates were jank when they told us. They could get it 90 euros a night, which is honestly ridiculous. Like that's still stupid expensive.
That's way too expensive.
90 euros a night?
Yeah, 90 euros a night.
Where? Dude,
it's actually no, it's not the hotel above. But yeah. Oh, it's near the dome. Yeah, then
near the dome. Okay, listen.
It's still close, but
I went to ESL Colonia last year with Gecko, mid-July, and for the whole weekend it was like 100 and something euro. How much was Colonia? Well, he doesn't remember. But 180 euro. It wasn't that expensive for two people.
That's for two people.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
And for 3 nights.
I mean, if you're sharing a hotel room with somebody, 90 euros split is 45 euros a night per person, which isn't bad then. But that means you have to stay with the person. And if you're not a person who likes to stay with other people, then I mean, you could look for Airbnbs. I will say that Evo staff and like the casters and everything have basically a setup already, and we found an insane deal, which we already reserved because reasons. But yeah, we got an insane deal where Chris, we're only paying like what 35 a night for each of us essentially. I think for 5 nights because we have to be there. We have to get there super early. We have to get there
5 nights, and we were like what 185 for the whole weekend.
Yeah, so it's 185 per person for the entire weekend though, which is
like
insane,
33 euros a night or something. I can't math right now.
But we have to get there on Wednesday. That's why we're doing 5 nights. So we have to get there Wednesday evening, and then we leave Monday. So, but yeah, like. We got lucky because we found something early on, but still it's even kind of far away, so we have to take a train in, like a 35-minute train ride in, to get in. But I mean, it's worth it at that point. So, but yeah,
it is what it is.
This is my plan for. This is what I would recommend to you all, and I think I recommended it last time. Is that you will see rates pretty high right now. If you can find an Airbnb or something like with a group of people, that's going to be really cheap. Do that. That would be my recommendation. Outside of that, if you wait till summer, like mid to late summer, like almost getting very close to the event, usually at the end of summer, prices will go down because that is when everybody's getting off vacation from summer vacation, and September hits right in that zone where everybody's getting off vacation. So prices are going to go lower just because it's going to be off season at that point for hotels and vacations. So just as a PeopleG study.
Okay, we go with the questions. I said because I saw a question that is actually good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where's the question? Well, Tomac was asking before if there would be any crowdfunding. Tomac said there are efforts to set up a crowdfunding, collecting money for the prize pool or something. I don't know, but I think that it would be a great idea.
So for me, crowdfunding, in my opinion, I would rather use that through like merch or something. That would be how I would consider crowdfunding, because like Evo is becoming a club here, like literally like a couple weeks, like an actual recognized German club. Because all the paperwork's in and we're just waiting for the mail saying you done did it, good job. After that, Evo already had plans to have a merch store, which is going to come pretty quickly, at least by summer, I would say, is a realistic goal. And with that, probably, hopefully. And with that, we were thinking not only obviously Evo merch, but also including the XPEvo merch in there. We already talked with Experian. They said it should be fine. Or they said it was fine, I should rather say. And whatever funds we get from that XPEvo merch obviously would go to the event. So that's what I think would make the most sense. And we in our merch store can have we'll have caps and everything. So and hoodies and shirts and whatever other things we decide to have. Dings, bombs. Yeah. So
yeah,
Critty, yes, we can have a ranting session, bro. If you want to hop on this podcast, slide in my DMs. We can rant.
A ranting session. So
Yeah,
we're gonna have a drama ranting session.
Drama session? Bro, we had a drama session with E Regionals today.
No,
that was fun.
Oh, but you know what I mean. We have a certain guest that is gonna come on once we have drama to talk about.
Oh yeah, we'll have drama with you too, I'm sure. Chris was like, "No, we can't have Import and Ama on the same podcast because then both of them would get canceled." And I'm like, "Bet, let's do it.
It's gonna be a speed run to get
cancellation speed run."
You can make it even worse and bring Dexter on.
I mean, I'm not going to be on the podcast for 3 weeks because I have a vacation thing that I'm doing. So I'm not. So you all can not hear me for 3 weeks. I'm sure. Like you can start clapping. You can start draking. You can start like celebrating. But yeah. So
no cancel.
No more import. Yes. Let's.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, finally. But yeah. That's kind of the update for that. Was there any other questions before we end? I mean, I think we've hit our.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Can I answer something that is kind of small but big at the same time? This weekend, there's gonna be a test cast for the women's league.
Oh, okay. I was like, huh?
No, you know. It's gonna be, I believe, 2 hours before Cup of the Day and the stream. It's gonna be the link for the stream is gonna be announced soon, I believe. But yeah, if you want to be part of it, if you want to give some feedback and check it out the teams, I'll recommend you to come and support the women's league this weekend, this Saturday, I think. Yeah. For the ones that are asking if we can meow.
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 I was mouthing meow the entire time and nobody cared. I was really
Yeah,
mad.
you did. I heard
like,
it, but they
meow.
didn't.
And they didn't care. They didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't care, man.
Really mad.
Cannot believe this chat, man. Just kidding. I love you guys.
Yeah.
All of you except Forever.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Not just kidding.
Bro.
Uh,
I get a drama.
Yeah, can we start drama? Forever. I hate you.
Lime versus Forever. Let's go. All right, I'm down.
1v1.
Yeah, 1v1. Let's do this. Easy.
No.
Forever's gonna wreck my car now because we're gonna be playing iRacing after this together. So, yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Unless anybody else has anything to say. No.
Not that I remember. For next week.
For next week. Bet. All right. Yeah. So we will be back next week, unless Shorty decides to lose his blood pressure again. So.
No. I didn't lose it. Do you know that German saying, ich bin auf 180? I just made that literal.
Yes.
Can explain for the non-Germans?
Yeah, for the non-Germans, basically, my blood pressure was literally 180 to 130, which is something that they instantly put you into the hospital usually.
Yes.
Or like not instantly, but they are gonna make sure that like that's way too high, basically. Like not just a little bit too high, that's just dangerously high. And there's like a German saying about I'm at 180. Like when someone is like really angry, like something like that, like really agitated,
okay.
and that's when that's kind of that saying. And I may have used that in the last week a little bit more than I should, but it's just just made sense.
The meme became reality. Okay.
Also, here you go, Marina. Meow.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Full of whips. Can I get out of the podcast right now, please?
Yeah. Wir sind fertig. Okay, we're done now. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us with the podcast yet again. And we will be back next week, Thursday at 9 p.m. Central European Time, with all our fun stuff with me, Lime, Shorty, and all drama that we can conjure up out of nowhere. And Speedy, yes.
Speedy.
Hopefully Speedy will respond to my DM. Otherwise, I'll be really mad. So yeah, hopefully Speedy will be on next week so we can mull about the rule changes again, because me and Speedy have been talking about it for the last freaking 2 weeks.
Why didn't we just wait then until next? Oh god. Okay.
Well, I mean, it was already happening, so it's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and then I will be casting on Turbo's channel. There you go, Turbo. There's your shout out again. And so check out me on Turbo, support me. And
check out me too. I'll be casting.
And Evo's Twitter is almost to 1,000 followers again, so you should follow that. If not, my stash is going away, and I will no longer be stashed for it. Not that matters to anybody, but hey, I threaten it anyways. All right, you guys have a good rest of your evening, and take care. We love you. Love yourselves. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.